Hi, women. My name's Karma, and welcome back to season 3 of the Free Birthing in Color movement. This is a space to hear the stories of women of color and Indigenous women sharing their experiences of living, working, and birthing in their power. If you feel like you have a story to share and would like to have your words and your voice amplified within this movement, please reach out to me. All information about submitting your story can be found within the show notes below or on the Free Birthing in Color Instagram page. The Instagram handle is at freebirthing_in color. Just send me a DM or find the submission forms within the profile. I look forward to hearing from you and making space for your experiences to be witnessed. And now I'm extremely grateful to have shared time and energy with our next guest. Here is her story. Hello, Aaliyah. Welcome to the Free Birthing in Color movement. I am so excited to have you here and to listen to your stories that you're going to share of your babies.
I am so excited to be here. Thank you.
Yay. Okay, so let's get right into it. The first question I would love to ask you is, what is your ancestry and lineage that you're passing down to your children?
Well, I am African American. I don't know where we originally came from, but I do know our own traditions that we set for, our family.
Mhm.
And, we are continuing to do so as well because I have my own family and my own children. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah. And I love asking this question because I always get such different answers. And yeah, sometimes people know deep into that lineage and sometimes people don't. And I find it's fascinating to know because us as women of color, because we have come from different homelands and are, living in the Americas, whether myself is in Canada, you're in the country of America. So it's really, yeah, I just like asking that question because it starts to get kind of the wheels turning, I feel. And then, like you said, you have your own traditions that you're bringing to your family, which I think is beautiful. Would you mind sharing a little bit of those?
Well, we are starting to celebrate Hanukkah now instead of
Okay.
Christmas because we
Hmm.
want those laws. We want our children to learn values and skills and how to work with each other, especially being, in the African American community. I feel like it's hard to build community. It's very, very hard to build community. And it can be very, very discouraging, actually, to be in a space with other Black women that, might think they're better than you, or you're too white, or you just don't fit in that box of what they think. So yeah,
Hmm.
I just love teaching my children something different, something with value, something that's, yeah.
I think that's beautiful. I love that. So thank you for sharing a little bit of that with me and with the audience. Um, and so the second question I would love to ask you is, where does your motherhood journey begin?
Oh, I always loved kids. Like since I was a kid, I love babies. I love kids. It was just my sister and I were twins. So
Twins, I love that.
uh, it's okay. Um, But yeah, I always loved kids from a young age. My first like experience with children, my aunt had her baby and she was born prematurely and she had a few problems. It was in the NICU. Um,
Mm.
so we got to bond with her and went to the NICU and I really just fell in love with her. She got out the NICU and oh my God, she was so obsessed with me and I was so obsessed with her. And that was just my child. Like
Aw.
so yeah. But yeah, I always knew I wanted to be a mother, but I knew that it was going to be hard. My mom always told me that was going to be hard. But yeah, you don't really know until you become a mother, actually, being pregnant and giving birth and going through breastfeeding and all that good stuff. But yeah,
Mhm.
it was a really beautiful experience that I got to have with my little cousin.
Aw, I love that so much. That's so beautiful. And it's just, yeah, on the path of learning and growing. And if I find it so wonderful when, cousins are so integrated within the lives of each other, because it's so beautiful to be in that, familial space, especially since it was just you and your sister. It's kind of like that extension, which is so lovely.
Yeah.
Hmm. I do have a quick question before we move into more of your journey. Because you are a twin, I always love asking twins that were born. into the world as a twin. What was that birth experience like with your mother? Was that just a standard hospital birth, or did she have you at home with a midwife? Just to get kind of an idea of what
Well,
that was like.
yes. We were born at the hospital. My mom had preeclampsia, so we were born at 37 weeks, which is great for twins.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so we were born at the hospital, pretty standard. They kept getting my mom to try to go in labor. Like she said, her body was not ready,
Mm-hmm.
that they were trying to force her to have a C-section, and she was really firm with them. I do understand that I am high risk, but it's not an emergency, and no, I'm not having a C-section.
Mm-hmm.
And they were telling her, "Oh, you're a bad pusher," and they were just putting all this stuff into her head,
Mm-hmm.
um, saying that you can't do this. You should just have a C-section and let us get on with our day. Basically, she was saying. But yeah, my mom was saying it was kind of traumatic because I had to be vacuumed out. But my sister, she was bigger and she came out just fine.
Mm-hmm.
But she was a first time mom, and she had to push two babies out, and she just didn't get the concept of how to do it. Um, and then she said she was heavily medicated as well, so it was kind of
Okay.
hard, to feel what was going on, with your body when you're, heavily medicated and you can't feel your legs, you can't feel anything. So
Mm-hmm.
they're just telling you how to do it, but
Mm-hmm.
your body needs to be in tune with what's happening to,
Right.
yeah, to do that. So yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I love the fact that it was a vaginal twin delivery because that is it's very like especially now in this day and age it's very rare, but when you were born it was a little bit more common, but as you're saying, the doctors were still pushing her to just have a C-section, let's just get it over with. So I'm really proud of her that she stuck to her guns and she did have the vaginal birth with you and your sister.
Yeah, she said it was quite a feat, but she was letting them know,
Hmm.
gotta go home, go ahead. you know, what's next,
Yeah.
So yeah.
Wow. Wow. So then, yeah, thank you for sharing that. And do you want to get into more of your story of maybe like your preconception journey with your first, or how this first pregnancy came to be, what this was like moving into that energy of starting to become a mother?
Yeah, sure. Well, I had just got out of high school, and me and my then boyfriend, we were on and off, and we weren't in a very good, relationship. We were young, we were dumb. You know, um, I got pregnant, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'll have a baby. I always wanted a baby, and um, some people didn't think it was a good idea. But
Mm,
my life, and you're your own biggest judge of if you can do it or not. Like if you
mhm,
feel good, you can do it, but if you feel like you can't, I mean, that's another thing. So but yeah, I was working through my whole pregnancy, and I had watched like a few like videos about birth. Well, to be honest, I've always been like obsessed with birth. I would watch
mhm,
birth story, and I just thought giving birth was so cool. And anyway, I watched like the business of being born, and I wanted to like have a out of the hospital birth. But I had gestational diabetes very, very early in my pregnancy.
mhm,
They were really fear mongering me
mhm,
about, being a first time mom. Everybody goes to the hospital, just goes to the hospital.
mhm.
And, I obliged, and,
And was this with OB care or with the hospital midwife?
I was with a hospital midwife at first, but
Okay.
I learned that I had gestational diabetes. I then had a OB.
Okay.
I wouldn't see like the same OB, so it was just whoever was there, and I don't know. They were just really judgy because at one point I couldn't gain weight
Mm,
because I was working. I didn't have a car,
mhm,
and things were rough. Things were hard. So yeah, and I just feel like they were just like, "Oh, you should just eat more. Like, why aren't you eating more?" I'm like, "I'm sick."
mhm,
Nausea pills, I feel like they're making it worse, and like they wouldn't prescribe me anything else or like give me any tips or anything on how to like make things better other than you need to eat. Like that's not very helpful. Like if I'm struggling with something, we like, can we think of a plan? And then I had a nutritionist as well. So that helped, with my
Mhm.
and keeping my blood sugars, and I didn't need to be any like on any insulin or anything. So that was good. But yeah, I made it to a whole 41 weeks, and my child was 6 pounds and 15 ounces. So, you
Yeah.
know, but yeah, the pregnancy was, oh, I guess okay. But like I said, I was working. I didn't have a car. My life wasn't together, to be having a child.
Mm-hmm.
But my mom was there for me at that time, so that was
Yeah.
very, very helpful.
Mm-hmm. And
But
what was
yeah,
that birth experience like for you when you finally did go into your birth process in the hospital?
oh, I just felt like I was being forced. Like they were like, as soon as I hit 39 weeks, they're like, "Oh, do you want to get induced?" I'm like, I'm confused on why I need to be induced. And like, well, since you have gestational diabetes, we recommend you have an induction. I was like, well, I would like to wait another week, and they were fine with that. Like, on the growth scans, because they said that he was 8 pounds and 9 ounces, which I
Mm-hmm.
was like, this is all an estimate. It's not 100% true. And I even told my mom, like, I don't even want to go to the hospitals to have an induction because it's gonna draw out the process. And my mom was like, just listen to the doctors, they know what they're talking about. And I was like, but this is how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I obliged. I was young, and my mom was just telling me, just listen, and you know.
Mm-hmm.
But when I finally got to the hospital and got induced, it was really rough because I didn't know what to expect, and I was just very, very nervous because, like I said, I didn't know what to expect. My mother was there, his father was there, and it was a really long process. I was in labor for 4 days.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I was in labor for a really long time, and I couldn't move around at all because every time I moved around, they said his heartbeat was dropping, which which was made I feel like made my labor go as long as it did because I couldn't move. I was literally stuck in a bed the whole time. Either I could get up and sit on the toilet in labor or go back in the bed. Like there was no walking around. Like literally, I decided just to get up and walk around. And
Mm-hmm.
they put the moving, like where you can move with them.
Oh, the
And
monitor.
when I tell you they hunted me down and brought me back to that room so quick. And I was like, I feel like I'm in prison. Like I have no say so over my body. And I really wanted to do this without any epidural. And I did make it to 8 centimeters, but after that, I still was in labor for a whole nother day. And I was like, I guess I can't do it. And like everybody just kept pressuring me, like, why do you want to have a baby with no epidural? I was like, I just don't want one. I really don't want one.
Mm-hmm.
And so I finally caved and got the epidural, and everybody was just so relieved, like, thank God.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was being the biggest annoyance
Mm-hmm.
like they have ever seen because it had been 3 days at this time, and I still hadn't gotten an epidural. And they're like, just get the freaking epidural. And when I finally obliged, they're like, ugh.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
uh,
sorry. Go ahead.
and then after that, he came 2 hours later.
Oh, wow. Wow. Okay. And I'm really surprised that like because it's a hospital setting that they honestly let you go for 4 days. Usually by like max 2 days they would already, be making up excuses of, "Oh, this is happening. We just need to cut that baby out of you, get you into a cesarean section." So,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's
Well,
amazing that you had the 4-day time.
I had an amazing, amazing nurse. The whole like the first 2 days I didn't have good nurses, but the last 2 days,
Mhm.
amazing nurse. She read my birth plan back to front, and
Mm.
everything that I said I didn't want, she was on it. She's like, no, she doesn't want a student to catch her baby. She doesn't want eye ointment. When I tell you, she was amazing, like the most amazing nurse I ever met.
Mhm.
And she knew I was young. My mom wasn't. My mom was just like, come and get this over with. Like every they just wanted to be done and over with. And my water didn't break, and I wouldn't let them break my water because I knew that would, have me a higher, I would have a C-section at that point because I knew my body wasn't ready to give birth.
Yep.
And they just kept trying to push it. And when it was finally time for me to push, I was like, yay, I'm so ready. And they got the mirror out for me, and
Mm.
like literally 5 pushes. And I was like, wow, it took so long for you to finally get to 10. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but, but yeah, the nurse was really great. She's like, yeah, you still have some lip. We're not gonna push
Right.
because we're gonna be pushing forever. But she was a really great nurse. The um OB that came in, she made the experience pretty bad.
Okay. Yeah.
Because she was talking in between my legs,
Mm-hmm.
telling me she was gonna catch my son like a football.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, she was being very, very rude, very, very professional. And especially when the nurse told her, hey, she doesn't want her baby caught by a student. She wants you to catch the baby. This is what's on her birth plan. I feel like she was just like, really? We're going to listen to her?
Oh gosh, that's awful. That's ugh, that bedside manner is horrible. So I'm really happy that you had that nurse who just seemed like a beautiful angel that was there by your side.
Yeah. So yeah, he finally came out. He was screaming and hollering. Oh, I forgot. He did poop. He had meconium, like very, very heavy meconium. So they were telling me like, oh, he might not cry, and
Mhm.
they were, telling me the worst case scenario, but everything was fine. He was crying. He was screaming to the top of his lungs. And I was like, oh my God, he's so loud. They cut his cord really quick. I don't remember delivering the placenta or anything, sadly.
Mhm.
The only thing I remember is him screaming to the top of his lungs and that everybody wanted to hold him. And I'm like, this is my baby.
Mhm.
I want to hold him. Why do we have to wrap him up and weigh him and toss him all around? and
Mhm.
and like literally they put the baby on your chest and they vigorously rub them.
Yeah, it's so
And he was
violent.
already crying, so I don't get why I mean, he had great color to him, like everything about him, he was fine. They're like, oh, we're just gonna take him away because the meconium, but I'm like, he's just fine. Like
Mhm.
he's screaming, he's hollering, he's peeing everywhere. I mean,
Yeah.
like he's fine. But
Yeah.
yeah, after that, like the nurse was just so great. She, helped me get in the shower. She, swaddled the baby, put him to sleep. And she was just so great. I was so sad I had to leave,
Mm.
labor and delivery and go to postpartum. So yeah.
Right. Yeah. And then how was your kind of immediate postpartum experience with breastfeeding and things like that?
Oh, he was very, very sleepy. He was very sleepy. It was hard for him to eat. The lactation consultant kept coming in and was asking me, "Oh, has he eaten yet?" I'm like, "No." So she tried to keep latching him, and at that point, he wouldn't latch. He was just very, very sleepy and lethargic. I think just because the epidural I got so late, and
Yeah.
he came like 2 hours later, so I think that made him really tired, not very motivated to eat, groggy. And so she was like, I'm gonna teach you how to hand express. And after that, I hand express and we gave it to him through a syringe. And then after that, he finally latched after a few hours of doing that. Trying, like, I didn't get much out, but it was enough for him to, I feel like, get his strength up
Mm-hmm.
to actually then nurse. So yeah, it was great once, like, his latch was great. We had no problem after. I feel like the epidural and all that stuff like was out of his system.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, that's good. Oh, wow. Yeah, it's so interesting because, yeah, you were so young. So it seems like medical practitioners, they just think like, oh, a young woman is pregnant and she's just stupid and doesn't know how to make choices for her body. So they get very like, you should do this and force you to do things like this. And yeah, it's unfortunate, but yeah, where am I going with this? Like you did it. You birthed your baby. Even through all of that, you did avoid having an unnecessary cesarean section. So that's really great. Things did happen to you, like the epidural that you didn't want to happen. But it's really nice, like I said before, that you had this nurse and like you were mentioning that nurse that was there by your side. And I feel like if you didn't have that nurse, the outcome could have probably been so much different and yeah, not as good as it could have been. So sometimes, yeah, certain practitioners within the medical field can make a huge difference because they just respect women. And it seems like that nurse totally respected you. And like you said, she went back and forth through your whole entire birth plan and was sticking up for you. And like, she doesn't want this, she doesn't want this. So that's really, yeah, it's really nice to hear that there are those good people, those good eggs that are within the system. They're few and far between, but they are there sometimes, and it does help make the situation a little bit more bearable. So,
Exactly.
mhm.
Exactly.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. So then did you want to kind of like in this postpartum timing, I'm not sure how long it is between your first and your second child, but after that birth experience, did you, feel like it was traumatic? Did you do any trauma debriefing or did you just think to yourself, maybe I want to do this different or it didn't register as that way as traumatic and you were just like by the time you did get pregnant again, was it still like, oh, I'll birth in the hospital or what was that like for you?
Honestly, I didn't have any birth trauma from the whole experience other than the lady talking in between my legs and calling my baby a football, which he not a football. But other than that, I feel like the nurse made the experience so well that
Hmm.
I didn't get any birth trauma. And like I said, everything was perfect. My
Hmm.
firstborn, he was just so perfect. He was, I mean, he cried a lot, but
Hmm.
also, um, oops, sorry oops, sorry,
That's
um,
okay.
a lot, but also I was home with him 24 hours a day. So I would just like breastfeed him. He would go to sleep. My mom was around. She took great, like she was a great help.
Mhm.
So yeah, it was a great experience. But after I got my when I got pregnant again, I was pregnant with twins.
Oh,
And
okay. Okay.
so avoid the medical system, but also I felt like I can go back to the same place and it might have, a great birth again. I mean, it wasn't like all great, but I mean, everything has, you know, that aren't great. So
Mhm.
when I found out I was having twins, I felt like my plans were shattered because, this is a high risk pregnancy. It was during, C19.
Mhm.
So, um, so I feel like that really put a damper because my partner he couldn't come with me to
Oh.
my appointments, which I thought was so stupid.
Mhm.
So yeah, I felt like the connection just wasn't there because I would show him the pictures or like like I think my whole pregnancy only came to 3 appointments because they only allowed him to three.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's so sad.
the anatomy scan that he came to and then like my last ultrasound and then the very first appointment that
Okay.
was it because they weren't allowing anyone to come in uh,
Right.
and yeah it was hard to advocate as well with my twin pregnancy again it was very hard for me to eat and keep things down
Mhm.
uh, and I think for the my first 6 months of pregnancy I gained 3 pounds
Oh,
and
wow. Okay.
my OB, she was very matter of fact of my children are going to have disabilities, that my children are going to be in the NICU. And she was just, the way she was talking to me was very unacceptable. But I didn't like, I felt like, let me just stick with her because like I'm already this far along.
Mhm.
And she was just so matter of fact of, you need to do this, you need to do that. And if you don't, your babies are going to be in the NICU, your babies are going to be unhealthy.
Oh my
Um,
gosh.
Yeah, and again, this provider was not trying to remedy my nausea or help me with anything at all,
Mhm.
but telling me to eat, which I do not understand. And I already told her several times that Zofran does not work for me. It still makes me just as sick, and I don't want to take pharmaceuticals if it's not going to make things better.
Mhm.
Um, and she was like, well, it just seems like you don't want to take the medicine. I said, I've tried the medicine and I know it doesn't work for my body. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that there's plenty of other medicines that a pregnant woman can try, but it's always what they think and what you should do. And if you're not going to follow what they want, then it's okay. I'm going to tell you the worst case scenario and fear mongering you to do what I think you should do. When I literally couldn't keep anything down. Like I literally would eat just to throw up.
Oh gosh.
It was horrible.
Mhm.
It was really, really horrible. It was really tough. just being pregnant with another child. He was 4 at the time,
Mhm.
about to turn 5. So, I mean, he could kind of do things for himself, but it was just very, very challenging. So,
Yeah,
uh,
especially when you're so sick all the time, trying to take care of yourself, being pregnant with twins, let alone a 5-year-old. Like, that's a lot of energy that you clearly didn't have at the time. And it's just, I just am thinking, like, oh my goodness, this OB, like, not even giving you any other options to try and make this a more easeful pregnancy experience for you is just like, oh, why is she even doing the work she's doing if she just doesn't care? Really, that's how I see it.
exactly. Yeah. If you're not trying to help me gain weight, or she's, oh, what is your dietitian saying? Or my dietitian will be like, oh, like she'll write down, like she'll have me like log everything I eat. And I tell her, but nothing is staying down. And they were having me, because I had gestational diabetes with them as well. She was having, what's it called? Ketones. Like I had to monitor my ketones. She's like, well, they're really high. And your babies can have learning disabilities and this and that because you're not eating enough. And I'm like, I keep telling you guys, like, I cannot keep down anything. Like, if I could eat, like, I'm not trying to starve myself. I want to eat, but I physically cannot eat. Like,
Mhm.
I would get in the car and I would throw up. There would be throw up everywhere. It was just, it was
Oh,
it was such, that pregnancy was such a nightmare. I
and
thought my,
this nausea, did it last the whole entire way?
the whole entire pregnancy,
Oh, wow.
the whole entire pregnancy. And I finally did gain some weight. So I think my twin pregnancy, I only gained 15 pounds.
Wow.
Um, so
Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
but I remember towards the end, I was at my 36-week check. I had been going every week for like growth scans. And they were telling me like, um, just look out for this and look out for that. And oh, she was just asking me how my other birth went, and that that I was probably going to be induced, and I was telling her, no, we're not making an induction date. And she kept saying, oh, we should have a C-section because baby B, she was breached. And I said, well, baby A is not breached, so
Hmm.
we could turn her around.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, if that's what you want. I'm like, yeah, why wouldn't I not, want a vaginal birth? And at the time, our room was upstairs, so I would have to walk upstairs. Like, why would I want a cesarean?
Yeah.
And I know I have to, like, she's like, oh, you can just sleep on the couch. I'm like,
Oh my
absolutely
gosh.
not. Like, no.
Wow.
Um,
Wow. She just seems so like, what is going on with you, doctor?
yeah, I don't know what was wrong with her, but she was not very, very birth friendly, like natural birth friendly. And
Hmm.
like I said, it really put a damper on just knowing I had twins, because I even had called a home birth midwife at the time, and she told me her price. And I was like, wow, that's a lot. Like, I can't afford that. So she was like, well, you can do this. Like, she was really nice. She was like, well, you can do this and you can do that. You can tell them you don't want this, you want that. And honestly, if you can go into labor yourself, just go when you're in full blown labor. I was like, okay.
Hmm.
Um, and so at my 36-week appointment, she was like, oh, you're 1 centimeter dilated. We're just gonna set your induction for 38 weeks.
Oh
And I
my
was like,
gosh.
we can set it, but I wasn't gonna come anyway. But a few days later, I was in labor. I didn't know I was in labor, just because, I mean, with my first, I was, I got induced and it took so many days. So I was just thinking like, yeah, I'm gonna, have to get induced, and I'm gonna have to have pitocin. I'm gonna have to have all these interventions to just go into labor.
Hmm.
And I was telling my grandma and my mother, my partner, he was at work. So it was my grandmother, my mom, and my son. And I was like, yeah, I think I'm having some contractions. And my grandma, she was like, oh, you're too calm. You're too calm. And then I went in my mother's room and I was like, Mom, like, I'm feeling some pressure. Like, I think the babies are coming. My mom was like, oh, no, you're way too calm. They both just kept saying, oh, you're way too calm. And my partner, I called him. I'm like, he's like, oh, I'm getting off work in 20 minutes. I'm like, okay, come to the house straight away. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have the babies. And he's like, such a hard day at work. And okay, well, the baby's going to come home today. He's like, are you sure it's not a false alarm? I'm like, no, I'm sure. He's like, you sound so calm. I was like, why does everybody keep saying I sound so calm? So then when he finally comes, he's like, okay, I'm telling him to get stuff, and contractions are, coming back and forth like every 4 to 5 minutes. And he's, getting all the stuff. And then we got in an Uber.
Mhm.
I'm so tired and he didn't, want to drive. So we got in the Uber and he fell asleep in the Uber and I
Oh.
grabbed him so hard, grabbed him so hard and woke him up. He was like, oh my God. After I had this one, she's like, oh my God, you scared the hell out of me. Because I'm like, why are you sleeping? Like, wake up. Like,
I'm
what's
about to
going
do something. You can't be sleeping. I'm the one who should be sleeping, if anyone.
goodness. So when we finally got to the hospital, they were like putting bands on. They were like moving so slow. And I'm like, dude, like, I'm gonna have these babies, like, hurry the hell up. And so once I said that, they like got me in a wheelchair and they like were hurrying up. And when I finally got in the room, they were like moving so slow because everybody kept saying I was so calm. And I'm like,
Mhm.
no, I'm calm because, like, I just want to give birth. I know, I know it's coming soon. And when she finally checked me, she's like, "Oh, you're 10." And
Oh,
she was,
wow.
she was running everywhere. She was paging people, she was calling people. The I guess like the NICU was full, and I don't know. It was March, so yeah. But yeah, they were, telling me I had to go to the OR and put this on and asking me, hey, do you want an epidural? I'm like, no, I'm 10. Why would I want an epidural? And
Hmm.
they were very adamant on me having a IV. They wanted me to have two IVs. And I told them, no, I'm not getting two IVs. You guys got one in now. I'm at 10. I just want to push my babies out and I want it to be done. And they kept saying, "Oh, we can do a spinal," and I'm like, "No, I don't. I don't want a spinal. I don't want anything.
Hmm.
I just have my babies." And they're like, "Okay, well, we're gonna break your water." And mind you, I had a mask on my face, and they were trying to make me push with a mask on in this OR theater. It was freezing cold, and this man was looking at me the whole time while I was pushing, and I was feeling very, very
Oh.
comfortable, like, ugh. And
Hmm.
partner, he was like, can you like look away? Because he could tell like I was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I was asking them like, hey, can I take my mask off? And they wouldn't even answer me. So I took my mask off. They were asking me what insurance I had. And I had to tell her, like, lady, I did all my stuff for the hospital. Why the hell are you asking me
Hmm.
about my insurance?
Yeah, it's not the time or the place to be asking those questions.
And they were like, it was just, I don't know. They were putting, hospital bands on me and,
Mm.
setting up the warmers. And it was just really chaotic. And, they were trying to tell me like to practice push. And I was telling them, please shut the hell up. I don't need your help. My body knows what to do. And I
Mm.
really didn't want them to break my water, but they like insisted that they had to break my water. So I was
Hmm.
like, okay. And like that was my first time giving birth without, an epidural. And I was like really shocked, like how painful it was because like of course I knew it was gonna be pain, but I wasn't prepared for that much pain.
Hmm.
And then when I had to do it again, I was like, oh my God, it's gonna be painful. But I wasn't really thinking about I wasn't thinking about it like the second time because, this is what we have to do. But
Hmm.
when I pushed, well, let me let me stop going so fast. But she was breached, and then when my baby boy came out, he was really quiet.
And he came out head first.
Yeah, he came out head first.
Okay.
He wasn't breached. But yeah, when he came out, he was kind of quiet. His color was fine, but they did cut his cord very quickly and put him in the warmer. And on our bill, they said that they resuscitated him, which was not true.
Mm.
And my mom was like, maybe they were trying to get the extra money because she didn't get the epidural.
Yeah, I
But
wouldn't doubt it.
and the insurance company wouldn't pay because they're like, if he was needed to be resuscitated, why didn't he go to the NICU? I'm like, exactly. There's nothing wrong with him other than that he was just being quiet.
Yeah.
and so I only got to hold him for like maybe a minute, and then dad like rushed over to him and made sure he was okay. And then I was like, okay, having contractions. So they're like, okay, let's, flip the baby, which I don't know, it was really quick. Like I wasn't having contractions after I had him. So I just had like, they were born 5 minutes apart, but I just don't see how it happened so fast. Like they flipped
Wow.
her, and then they were like holding her down, like so she wouldn't come back up, I guess. I don't
Yeah.
know. But after she was born, she was just fine. She was screaming and yelling, and
Mm-hmm.
I told them I did not want her cord cut. She's fine. And they were really adamant on we don't need more than 5 minutes, and they still cut it. And I was
Oh.
really mad because we know they just wanted the cord blood
Mm-hmm.
at this point, because there was no reason for her cord to get cut
Yeah.
other than, you know. So I was very mad about that. And then once the babies came out, this physician, I had never met her, but she put her hands inside of me, and I'm not sure what she was doing. She didn't tell me that she was going to do it. She didn't tell me, hey, something is going on or anything. And I was in excruciating pain. Like, what the hell is, going on? I had my baby, I had my daughter with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just utterly confused. And then they took her from me after that because
Oh.
they didn't want me to drop her, but they had me all the way in the air, which I didn't understand either. If I already had the babies, why not put me down where it's safe for me to hold my baby? They didn't put the railing up or anything. So I'm like, at this point, you guys want me to drop her, and then you put your hand in me unprovoked and didn't even tell me what was going on, and you
Mm.
violated me. You
Yeah.
didn't tell me, you didn't give your consent, you didn't ask. Um,
Oh,
so
I'm so sorry that happened to you. That sounds horrendous.
it was, especially like I didn't have an epidural. I had just birthed two babies, and I was just like very, very confused. And when
Mm-hmm.
I came back to my room later, I asked her why, and she's like, "Oh, I was just trying to get the placenta out." And I'm like, "Why? Why are you trying to get? Why did you have to go in and manually take my placenta out? Like nothing was wrong." And I was like, "Well, was I bleeding a lot?" She's like, "Oh, a little."
Mm.
So I'm 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 confused. If I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
bleeding, if there was nothing wrong, why then manually remove the placenta?
But that's just protocol, like that's their hospital protocol. Baby comes out, they reach in there, they yank that placenta out or both those placentas out as quick as they can so that they can swoop them and swipe them away and, do their nefarious things with these placentas before you even kind of have a chance to notice what's going on. Ugh, that's so sad. I'm so sorry that that was your experience right after you birthed your two babies.
Yeah, and even my partner, he was like, I was shocked that that happened. Like you were already telling them, like, no, you didn't want to be touched. You
Mm-hmm.
were telling them this, you were telling them that. And he was like, I'm so sorry, like because he was with the babies that I was not, there to watch, and it
Mm-hmm.
was COVID, so he was the only one there. And I had my doula, and they didn't even like they they decided not to have her come. Like they,
Mm.
oh no, she can't come. So I feel like that they kind of sabotaged my birth as well, because I did need that second person, a
Yeah.
doula, because it was only him and I, and we have two babies, and he, has to focus on the babies. Um,
And you need that person to focus on you.
exactly, exactly. So, she called me and asked me how my experience was, and that she's sorry that she couldn't come, and well, yada yada yada. But I mean, they were fine. They didn't need, NICU stay or anything. My boy, he was 5 pounds 13 ounces, and my little girl, she was 6 pounds, six
Mm.
pounds 2 ounces. So they were born really good weights.
Very healthy.
Yeah, no
For
problem.
twins, yeah, that's great.
No NICU stay. And when I seen that OB again at my 6 week appointment, I was like, all the things you said about, my babies being going to be disabled, and that they're going to have learning problems. God protected us, and what you said was a lie. And you need
Hmm.
to stop fear mongering women, because I could not eat. Like I physically could not eat. And she was looking very, very uncomfortable. I seen her at my 6 week appointment.
Well, I'm glad you stood up for yourself and you said those things to her.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Because it was just very disrespectful and
Yeah.
not any resources or tools to, help that was really a slap in the face for her
Hmm.
to say. And I was like my grandma, everybody was just so shocked because they're like, wow, you had two babies so easy. And I was like, that's what happens when you give birth naturally. You can
Hmm.
you can feel what's going on. You can birth with ease because you
Hmm.
know what's going on. My body was ready. My body was ready to give birth. My babies are ready to give birth. To be here. So everything went wonderfully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love hearing that you, again, like your mother did, birthed you and your sister vaginally. I love hearing that you birthed your twin babies vaginally, especially during the COVID time, because
Mhm.
everything was so restricted for women that were coming into the hospital. Like you said, your partner couldn't even be there with you. They wouldn't allow your doula to be in there with you. And I've heard many horror stories of mothers birthing completely alone because they wouldn't even let the partners come in. And yeah, for you, birthing twins vaginally is like, I'm just like, wow, that's incredible that you were able to do that. Obviously, all of the stuff that happened to you was definitely not right and like so awful. And yeah, it's just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe your doctor was talking to you and treating you that way during that pregnancy journey and just shoved her hands up your body without even asking or telling you, asking first and saying, I would like to do this. Is this okay with you? But just doing it. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, that's horrendous. And oh gosh, like, yeah, sometimes hearing things like that, I'm like, okay, she got the vaginal birth, but also like at the cost of
Yeah.
what kind of thing. And
Hmm.
may I ask what state you're in? Because most places, if it's a twins birth, it's automatic cesarean.
I live in Minnesota, and I will say here in Minnesota,
Okay.
to getting the care you need, it's very hard to get. Yeah, it's very, very hard, especially if you are a Black woman, a
Mhm.
woman. You have to advocate for yourself. You have to be very, very headstrong and let them know you can't mess around with me. Um, even I'm pretty sure on my chart, they know not like even with my kids when I bring them to the doctor, they know if anything happens.
Mm.
I am calling patient rep before they
Mm.
give children any vaccines. I am checking to make sure they're giving the correct ones, that they're not bringing anything otherwise that I told them I didn't want. Just because it's, and I feel like doctors, they play, they have God complexes like, okay,
Mhm.
doctor, I have this degree and, I know best. And they think they know better than, you in your own body, which is not true at all. Everything is not by the books. Everything is not standard procedure.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, not every woman. Yes, you're a woman and you're pregnant and you're going to give birth, but it's not going to be the same formula, right? Every woman gives birth differently and they just subscribe to this one narrative, this one way, and it's just ruining birth experiences when they go like that, which is unfortunate. Um, yeah. But I did want to ask you this, just one last question about your twins. Do you know what type of twins you had? Did they tell you?
Yes, they were mono. They were in two different sacks. So I think that's mono.
Did they share a placenta as well?
No, no placenta.
Okay.
They had their own sac, their own placenta, their own
Okay. So
everything.
they'd be die
Yeah.
twin.
Yeah.
Okay. Amazing. Oh, wow. And then how was that postpartum experience for you? Did you breastfeed the twins or like what were your feelings and emotions after that? Were you well supported and cared for? How was that for you?
Well, breastfeeding them was, oh my goodness, my son. We were using donor milk because they were so hungry when they're born. They were so hungry. They were sucking on each other. They were just so hungry. They were sucking outside of the crib. So we did give them donor milk just because I was so tired.
Hmm.
I just wanted to eat. So we did give him donor milk. And my son, he drank that bottle like in 1 minute. The nurse was like, oh my goodness, I've never seen a newborn suck down a bottle so fast.
Hmm.
And honestly, I had like lots of colostrum. They latched so well. I had no problems at all. I went home breastfeeding both of them, and everyone was like, wow, you're breastfeeding the twins. I'm like, of course.
Hmm.
Why not? Like, if they're able to do it, if I'm able to do it, why not?
Hmm.
But yeah, everybody was just so impressed and like, why would you breastfeed two babies? Why not give them formula? I'm like, why give them formula when my body can produce milk for them?
Right? And breast milk is free.
Exactly. So I breastfed them for 8 months. It was
Wow.
a great experience. And once they got older, though, it was kind of challenging to like tandem feed them because my daughter, she was just very territorial. She wanted to, touch on the other breast. And if
Oh.
her brother was on there, she would be smacking him, and he would be.
Aw.
So they had to take turns, and that was also hard too because it's easier just do it at one time and just be done with it. But yeah,
Mhm.
they were each other, so
Oh.
yeah.
Wow, that's a big feat to breastfeed two babies for that long. So very proud of you for doing that. That's, breastfeeding one baby is a lot, but two, that's a lot of work. So yeah, proud of you for doing that, Mama. That's amazing.
Thanks.
Wow. And then what was the experience then after this like postpartum journey with the twins, then moving into this next birth or this next pregnancy, pardon, and birth?
Um, so with my twins, I didn't speak with my mother anymore. She made my postpartum experience really horrible
Oh,
because she didn't like my partner, and at the time we were all living together. Um,
okay.
so yeah, she stressed me out so bad, where I just I couldn't stop crying like the whole day.
Oh.
I think I was like 4 days postpartum. So she made the experience very horrible. I then, him and we moved into our own place. But I was looking to stay there because I needed, my mom's support and help. And when she wasn't that support and help I needed, it was very hard, heartbreaking.
Mhm.
Honestly. But after that, it was just me, the three kids, and dad was at work all the time. So it was hard. It was hard navigating, two babies, breastfeeding them, a 5-year old that was rambunctious and he needed, time and attention too. And yeah, it was hard. So I did decided to stop breastfeeding them and let them have, a bottle. They're thriving. They're 8 months. Let's just be done with it.
Mhm.
And then shortly after, being done breastfeeding the twins, I got pregnant again with my fourth baby. And I knew as soon as I found out I was pregnant that I'm not gonna go to a hospital this time. So I checked my insurance card and seeing if I can go, who I could go with. So I chose a birth center,
Mhm.
and I felt like it was a great experience, like with midwives. They were very helpful and telling me trips and tricks, and I didn't have any nausea with her, so that was a great
Okay.
that was a great. I had no gestational diabetes and I had no
Wow.
morning sickness. I was like, oh wow, this is what it feels like to have a somewhat good pregnancy.
Mhm.
My midwives, it was just like I was sitting, at someone's home talking to them about, pregnancy, and they're telling me, okay, we're not gonna rush, you having the baby whenever we're ready. Well, they were telling me if I got to 42 weeks. But anyway,
Okay. Okay.
42 weeks anyway. So I was like, I'm not, going to worry about it. But it was really, on my terms. If I didn't want something, they weren't going to, push it on me and say, this is what we think. And if you don't do it, this is going to happen. They weren't fear mongering me. If
Mhm.
anything, they, supported my decision. And if I, maybe they would ask me again, but they wouldn't keep, you know, like every appointment, like if I was at the OB office and I told them I didn't want a flu shot, they would literally ask me every visit, every visit,
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
this shot. But at the midwives, they were like, okay, you don't want it, okay, that's fine. Um, they asked one
Such a
more
different
time.
energy.
Yeah, they asked maybe one more time, and then it was done and over with. And but yeah, it was great. Her pregnancy was great. I of course I had three other, young kids, so that was kind of hard. But my other kids, he was in school, my oldest, and then the twins, they were in daycare.
Mhm.
So like that was like, took some pressure off things. And I wasn't working at the time either. So I had that, downtime just to rest and recuperate.
Mhm.
So yeah. But yeah, her birth was it was fast.
Mhm.
It was strong and furious. So
Yeah. And this time, did you recognize the signs of getting into your birth process like you did with the twins, or yeah?
mhm. Yeah, very quickly. I'm like, okay. I think I told my partner, I said, I think today's the day. He was like,
Mhm.
just like, okay, you're calm. That's normal for you.
Mhm.
You'll know, when it's go time. I'm like, yep, I will. So we're just eating some Chinese food and we were gonna go wash. I was like, let's just wash, for the last time. I was like, you know what? Nope. Put the stuff back in the trunk. Let's go. We called his sister and because she wanted to be at the birth. She's
Okay.
never seen, someone give birth naturally. Can I come to your birth? I'm like, sure. Sure, you can come to my birth. Sure, you can watch me have this baby. Why not? So she drove us there and literally within an hour I had my little girl. And
Wow, really?
yes, it was very, I think my labor was only 3 hours. it
Oh my
was
gosh. Wow, that is quick.
it was fast and furious. And like there were some stairs like at this birth center. You have to walk in the back and there's like a lot of steps.
Hmm.
Getting up those steps, my partner was moving so slow. She was like, oh my God, why? She was like, she was very nice, but also like, she's about to have this baby. Can you please hurry up?
Yeah.
When he was like moving so incredibly slow, and when she checks me and she's like, "Oh, you're at a 5." And then after that, like I felt something. I was like, "What is that?" She's like, "Oh, that's the bag of water." I'm like, "Okay, okay." And she's like, "Okay, you want to get in the tub? If you want a water birth, come on, let's get in the tub. Like, let's hurry up."
Mm.
Like she was totally calm about it. Like, she knew what I wanted, so she was like, okay, this is the time, to get in the tub, and it's happening. So I'm
Hmm.
okay.
Sure is happening. Yeah.
And she, encouraged me, you can feel and see if your baby's near, or it's just a sack. And I'm like, oh yeah, she's right there. And then they found out she had meconium as well. So they were a little freaked out by it just
Mhm.
because, I don't know. They were a little freaked out, but they didn't panic. And she was born in her sack.
Wow.
She was, but they did hurry up and open it just because the meconium, they didn't want her to, and I don't know, breathe it in or whatnot. But
Right. Yeah.
my partner did want to catch her, but unfortunately, because she came out in her sack and it was meconium, they did not want him to catch her, and
Mm.
he was very pissed about it because he had been, building up, to catch our child, and when they told him to move out the way,
Oh, that's so sad.
he was like, "I get it, but like, couldn't they like did it with me?"
Yeah, just be there for support. But yeah, if he was so excited. Oh.
And his sister was like, "Oh wow, you had her so quick." And she was born. I was on hands and knees when I was pushing, and they put her on my back, which I found very odd.
Yeah, that is weird. They put her on your back like a baby piggyback is what I'm imagining.
Yep, they put her on my back. Still to this day, I can sometimes feel like her just just crawl,
Oh.
just crawling on my back. And yes, they had her on my back maybe for like 3 or 4 minutes, and Eli was like, can she hold the baby now?"
Right?
And so they finally flipped me around. Um, they finally flipped me around, and I was like, okay, this is fine. And I was bleeding quite a bit.
Mm.
And so they were like, "Oh, can we give you Pitocin?" And I told her, "No, I didn't want the Pitocin. Let's let." She was like, "Okay, well, can you get out the tub so we can monitor it?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, I can get out the tub." So we walked to the tub. Baby was still connected. And when we got to the bed, she was like, "Oh, you're bleeding a lot, and so I'm gonna take out." She, warned me and asked me, "Could she?" And I was looking at her like, "Absolutely not."
Mm.
Like, I'm so sorry. I have to go and get the placenta. And I was very, very like, not this again. I didn't. I already told her that I was very, very uncomfortable with that having to happen again. If there was something I could do that. But anyway, she went to get it, and they were doing the fundal massages and all that good stuff. And I don't really remember much of what happened after that. Baby was still on my chest. Thankfully, they didn't take her away or anything. Everyone was there just watching the show.
Mm-hmm.
They finally got me to stop bleeding, but I just, like I said, I felt very violated.
Yeah.
Just because it was just like, why? I understand. She told me why, but it still wasn't registering in my mind that, okay, I was hemorrhaging and they had to do this, but I feel like they were just trying to kill me.
Yeah. And you weren't ready for it. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, you weren't ready and it just happened. It's very like shocking to the system and the body. Like, whoa, that's what just happened.
Yeah.
Wow.
So after that, they, did, I think, no, we had a long go. We had more than a golden hour, but we had like 2 or 3 hours before, they weighed her. And she was just very poopy. She had pooped on me. When we finally cut her cord, she pooped on dad. But she was just pooping everywhere. So yeah, that was nice that, we didn't have to get her placenta. Like, she got all her blood. They weren't rushing the process.
All right, we are back after a bit of technical difficulties, but we're here now to get the rest of your story, Aaliyah.
All right. So when they finally got her off my back, holding her and taking it all in, and I was like, I wonder how big she's gonna be. Like, oh yeah, she's a good size. She's a good size. And dad and aunt, they were crying, and they were like, oh my God. I don't
Hmm.
Everybody was just shocked, like, oh wow, you had a baby in 2.5 or 3 hours. We don't know, but she's here. It's so quick. And I was like,
Hmm.
I was just in shock because it happened, so fast. And, my midwife was telling me, oh, you're bleeding a lot. Can you get out the tub? Can we give you Pitocin? And I was telling her, no, I don't want no, I don't want any Pitocin. Can we wait a few minutes? Which she did let me wait a few minutes. And she says, okay, let's get out the tub and, get you dried off and, into the bed. And she was asking my consent on if, I don't know. She was just like, okay, Aaliyah, you're bleeding a lot. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get the placenta out. And she was
Hmm.
asking if it was okay. And I was just looking at her like, hell no. It's not okay. But she's like,
Hmm.
I gotta do it. I'm like, okay, not this again. So she gets the placenta, and mind you, it wasn't coming easy. It was stuck, or I don't know. It probably just wasn't ready uh,
Hmm.
come out. But yeah, I feel like she
Oof.
ripped it. But when we were expecting it, she was just saying it was very like the grooves in the placenta and how it was like in my body. It was
Mm.
I don't know how she explained it, but yeah, I just don't think it was ready to come at the end of the day. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, like I said, they were doing tons and tons of fundal massage. Um, yeah, like I said, I don't really remember much after that. I just finally remember, um, my partner was just, helping me hold the baby at this point because, I was in pain, and yeah, I was just in pain, and everybody was watching the show, like I said. So yeah,
Hmm.
we got maybe 2 hours alone in our room. just to bond with baby and, talk to each other about all the stuff that just transpired. And they weighed her and she was 7 pounds, 12 ounces. I was like, oh, wow, I finally got a bigger baby. That's
Yeah.
wow. So yeah, it was nice that they, weren't trying to cut the cord, that they weren't, trying to mess with her when she came out. Vigorous massage and suctioning and just bothering, the baby when they're perfectly fine. So
Hmm.
that was nice. And then, I took some medicine and they got me out of there so quick after, they knew that I was okay. I stayed longer than like usual because I think you only stay usually for, they say 3 to 4 hours after birth, I think.
Okay. Mm.
Stayed for like 6. So just a few hours. And yeah, we got in the car, we went home, we relaxed, we ate, we fell asleep, and I kept, the alarms coming. And she was also a great feeder. Like
Yeah.
I latched her, she ate fine. There was no there was no hiccups at all. I mean, I had did it 3 other times before, so I feel
Hmm.
like, but I know every like feeding experience is different. Some babies can't latch, you
Hmm.
know, it's not always you've done it before and it's easy, So
Yeah.
I was very grateful for that. And yeah,
Hmm.
she was a very spunky baby. She knew
Yeah.
she knew what she didn't like, and she's still spunky to this day. She knows what she does and doesn't like. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Wow. And so this postpartum experience then after having this now baby in the birth center with the midwives that were there, how would you compare that then to the two experiences that you had with the hospital births with those three babies?
Well, I will say it's more personalized. Like they know what's going on in your life.
Hmm.
You have more in-depth like visits with them. They're not, rushing to hurry up to get to the next patients. And,
Hmm.
if they have a birth that day, they'll tell you, hey, we're at a birth and we can see you at this time. They won't waste your time. That's what I like about it. If, they're not going to have you come in knowing that they don't have the time
Yeah.
to see you. So I also enjoyed that. I wasn't sitting there waiting for hours for doctors to come, check my baby's heartbeat and do a 5-minute appointment. So I also enjoyed that. Yeah, they were just honestly very honest about, about everything that was going to happen.
Hmm.
And we're willing to answer questions, for me and my partner. I feel like even with going like to the OB's office, if your partner has a question, I just feel like they don't include, you know,
Hmm.
your partner when you're like in visits or if they have questions or if your partner has concerns or if they just want to know, how you're being taken care of or whatnot. I feel like the hospital just like, I don't know.
Yeah, they just don't really care to
Yeah.
worry, because it's like they're not part of the conveyor belt number. It's just this woman that has this baby. So we just need to focus on her quickly, get her in, get her out, and like nobody else matters, which is unfortunate.
Yeah. So it was a nice, experience, but just having like, again, people's hands shoved into my body. And
Hmm.
like I said, I just feel like the placenta was not ready. And she
Hmm.
said, oh, or is there too much blood? And I was just wondering if was it really too much blood or was it like could wait it because they did give me the Pitocin already and maybe
Okay.
wait for it to I don't know. But like I said, I know it's, they have licenses and they have to act quickly and they don't want anything to happen. So
Hmm.
I don't know. I feel like they
Yeah.
just I don't know, but I just feel like I said, her birth was so fast, so maybe
Well, that's the thing. You
yeah,
don't know, but also like you were speaking to, they do have licenses and regulation that they have to adhere to. And if they see a woman is bleeding, and they gave you the Pitocin, they probably could have waited a couple extra minutes just to, let the Pitocin take effect, let the blood start to slowly trickle. But a lot of medical midwives, not all, but a lot do practice under a lot of fear. So they just see some blood and it's like, oh, we've just got to, do everything we can immediately as per our regulations so that they don't get fired, and then it overrides what it is that you want, where you probably just wanted to be like, let's just wait this out, I'm feeling okay, I'm not passing out on the floor or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's unfortunate that um barrier got breached with you.
And
It's
it was multiple shots that they gave me. It just wasn't one. Like she gave me like 2 shots of Pitocin. So I was like,
okay.
I was just feeling like, eh.
Hmm.
But like I said,
Hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I wasn't there, so I can only speculate like that's what happened, but maybe it was a bit more excessive bleeding, but most of the time, some of the time that excessive bleeding will trail off, especially with the Pitocin. And yeah, like you said, your body just wasn't ready to release that placenta, and sometimes it's nice to give the mother a bit of a chance to, integrate with the baby, have baby on chest, smell baby, do that, and that can help. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's unfortunate. I'm sorry that that happened again.
Yeah. And I was just like, can I just try to breastfeed her? Like, I know that can help. And like,
Hmm.
I was trying to latch her, but they were honestly giving me so much fundal massage. And
Mm,
I
yeah,
was like, I couldn't even try to latch her,
right. And that's
But
it. The fundal massage is so violent that like if blood is coming out, it's like, well, of course, because you're punching on my uterus, so of course I'm bleeding. Like, what's happening?
yeah, like I said, I feel like they were trying to kill me. Like, what
Yeah,
the hell? Like, she's trying to get the placenta out. The other midwife is doing fundal massage very vigorously. So I'm just like,
yeah.
this again. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, at least the pregnancy experience was nice, but my postpartum was very bad.
Oh,
It was bad.
in what
My
ways?
my partner was working a lot. I didn't have very much support. My twins and my fourth baby, they were only 18 months apart, so they were, yeah. Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So it was very hard. They weren't going to daycare at the time. Yeah, I had a mental health crisis that was
Mm-hmm.
going on, and I called my family and I asked them for help, and they didn't help.
Oh,
So that was a bit traumatic, just knowing that I don't have anyone, here for me. My partner has to work, and um yeah, the system had to deal with me. And the system is not nice, especially when you're going to through, a mental health crisis and you have a small child.
mm-hmm.
Um so yeah, I was sent to the psychiatric ward. I was pumping milk for my baby. Someone else had her,
Mm-hmm.
and she wasn't getting breast milk. She was getting formula.
Mm-hmm.
And they wouldn't like my partner, like we were trying to call to get breast milk, dropped off, and they wouldn't even oblige to even meet us somewhere for her to get milk, which was
Oh,
very horrible. And at the time I didn't know, but my baby did have COVID. So she was very sick and miserable, and they were giving her formula,
oh
which
gosh.
didn't help the situation. But when I had finally got out the hospital and they told me that my baby had COVID, I was very mad because I did talk to them several times and asked them, and they said, "Oh, baby's fine." She was not fine.
Oh my
Um,
gosh, they just lied straight to your face. That's horrible.
and I just felt very, very violated. Not only was my right to give my baby breast milk, they didn't care.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she was sick. She was saying, "Oh, we were all sick. We were all miserable. But why did you act like everything was okay?"
Yeah.
I just wanted to know how my baby really was. I don't see why you had to lie to me. I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't that fragile where you couldn't tell me, "Hey, your baby is sick," but then you not being able to even drop off breast milk to her at the time where she really needed it was very
Mm-hmm.
horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, I was just happy, to have my baby back. My kids went to daycare shortly after then that. But yeah, it was hard. It was rough. It was just having a lot of trauma, like even in my childhood and, having children,
Mm-hmm.
when you haven't, dealt with your trauma is a really hard thing to do. Which I didn't know until I had my fourth child. I didn't know my trauma was affecting other parts of my life
Okay.
because I was, suppressing it. Um, so yeah, because I thought I didn't have the time and that I can keep going and that I was strong. but really that was not true. Um, so yeah, it just took a lot of soul searching and yeah, just talking to myself and telling myself that it's gonna be okay. I'm gonna get through this. Yeah, and just
Mhm.
me and it's just me and my partner. So yeah.
Mhm. Wow. Wow. Thank you for sharing that because I think that's very important that you've said that because there's a lot of women, I'm sure, that have felt that same experience, but they keep it very private.
Mhm.
And it's an experience that needs to be shared or talked to the capacity at which they feel comfortable with, but also hearing stories of other women that have gone through these really intense mental crises and how they were able to do the things that they needed to do. Like you said, you got the care, even though you were away from your children, you did what you had to do and then came back and were able to regroup. So, yeah, thank you for sharing that and just offering a little light of hope for any other mother that's out there that could be feeling the same way, that it doesn't always have to be so bad. You can do things that can rectify the situation in time and things can get a little bit better.
Mhm. Exactly.
Mhm.
But it takes time, it takes patience, it takes perseverance,
Mhm.
it takes a lot. And just when you are in a space where your mental health is not well, people don't treat you very well. And
Mhm.
that was hard.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I'm just glad I'm through that. And I just want you
Mhm.
guys to know that things do get better. It will get better.
Mhm.
You will be on the other side looking back like, huh, that was so hard, but I got through it. I'm still here
Mhm.
to live through it. And I'm here to be, a light for my kids if they ever go through this. Cause I've been through it. Like I know
Yeah.
firsthand, if they need help, I'm going to be here to help and support them. I'm not going to leave them and say, hey, that's her problem.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's really courageous of you too because you did seek help from your family and they wouldn't get it, so you chose to go a different route. So that's also really holds a lot of power in what you chose to do. You did seek out for it and didn't get it, so you're like, "All right then, let's go to the next option." And that was something that worked for you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Mm.
that postpartum experience was really hard. I got
Mm.
through it and yeah, with my fifth baby, I just knew, yeah, I'll go to a few checkups. And I didn't even know like the word free birth. I didn't even know what that was or if people did that or,
Mm.
like I said, my family, everyone has hospital birth. Even me having her at a birth center, people were looking at me like, why would you do that? Why would you go home right after you gave birth? I'm like, because it's comfortable. I'm at home.
Yeah.
I had the baby. We're safe. We're fine. And midwives give you a lot of care afterwards. So they came to my house after she was a day old and I think 3 days old. And then we had a 2 week appointment and then 6 weeks.
Okay, yeah.
So we had a lot of follow up care to make sure, everything was fine.
Mhm.
Um, well, but yeah, I always forget to tell people that like they just don't send you home and then you're on your own.
Right,
So
yeah,
I
they
did
do.
add that, yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, I went back to the same midwives when I found out I was pregnant with my fifth child. Now, when I got pregnant with my fifth child, I would say I wanted another child, but I didn't think um, it would happen so fast with us trying.
Mhm.
And I just thought it was going to be too much, and I wanted to give my child up for adoption.
Okay.
My partner was better, not up for that at all. And my midwife told me I should have an abortion.
Oh, wow. That's
And
extreme.
yeah, after that, I felt very uncomfortable with her. And, I felt like that wasn't the place for her to say that. My child
Mhm.
was wanted, but I was scared. I was scared. I didn't know if I was going to have another, mental health crises. My partner was working a lot. And like I said, I don't have much family support. I knew I could do it, but I was scared. I
Mhm.
didn't have someone to, cheer me on and say, yeah, you can do it. Well, of course, my partner did, but
Mhm.
like I said, it was just him and I.
Mhm.
But yeah, once she told me that I should, do that, I felt very uncomfortable. And she was really just trying to basically tell me everyone gets one and it'll be fine. Um,
Mhm.
So after that, I just usually seen my midwife that I was comfortable with. And yeah, that it, the pregnancy went okay, but we did find out that I did have gestational diabetes again, and I knew
Hmm.
at my next appointment because I can't do the glucose drink. I
Hmm.
always vomit. So I was just doing finger pokes,
Yeah.
and my morning fasting levels were always high, and I knew when I came back to my next appointment that they were going to discharge me.
Okay.
And I had already been measuring 2 weeks since they started doing the measurements, like fundal measurements, to see if
Hmm.
you're right on track with how many weeks you are.
Hmm.
So when I went, I showed her my log, and she was, I already knew what she was gonna say. I had been looking at free birth, how people did it. I got a book about free birth and what to do, how to do things. And I was just preparing myself. I had told my partner that I wanted free birth, and he I don't know, he just didn't understand. He was he was supportive, but he just didn't understand like how we were going to do it with our four other children.
Hmm.
So he was like, "Okay, can we get a doula?" I was like, "Okay, we can get a doula."
Yeah.
So I was trying to find the perfect doula.
Yeah.
So I thought I liked this lady, and we had talked, we had interviewed, and she told me she had no one for that month of October,
Hmm.
and that she would be happy to help me with my birth. We did she did a few home visits, and then she told me I was a week overdue as well. She told me that she was going to New York.
Oh, what? Oh my
Yep.
gosh.
Luckily, like this is a plan where like she could like it would pay through my insurance, so I didn't pay her anything out of pocket. But
Okay.
still, that I didn't have a backup plan was very like a slap in the face. I mean, like,
Yeah, that's very jarring to just like, oh, you're over your time, but I'm going to New York, figure it out. Like that's not giving proper care, in my opinion. That's really sad.
yeah, it is. Oh, and I forgot to mention my midwife that I was very comfortable with. She was trying to push me like really hard to go to this clinic that I wasn't OB clinic that I wasn't comfortable because they told me I would have to have a C-section because baby was already measuring 8 pounds.
Okay.
That none of my other kids were that size, and I couldn't give birth vaginally. And so after I had talked with that OB, I never went back.
Hmm.
And it was just so freeing. I didn't have to go to appointments. No one was pushing and prodding me, telling me, we're gonna do it this way, not listening to me.
Hmm.
So very freeing. Like I was just pregnant. I was with my kids. I was with my
Hmm.
partner. He was on paternity leave. It was great. Um,
Mm.
we were cooking and meal prepping and just living our lives.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it was great. My aunts came to my house. So I seen my aunt. I know she had got her doula certification. So I was like, "Hey,
Oh.
hey, aunts, did you be at my birth?" And she was like, "Yeah, sure." And she was asking me like how many weeks along I was. I'm like, "I'm 41 weeks
Hmm.
today." And she's like, isn't that too long?" I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's fine. She's
Hmm.
still kicking and moving. She's still there.
Hmm. Hmm.
And she was asking me like, "Do you have a Doppler? Do you have this? Do you have that?" I'm like, "No, we don't have a Doppler, but we have everything else but that." And she was very scared. I wouldn't
Okay.
say scared, but no one else has, been through, this experience before. So
Mm.
I like your little head.
Oh my gosh, so cute. Hello.
So she was a little scared, and the next day, I called her and I was like, "Hey, I lost my mucus plug," and she didn't even tell me she was coming, but she came over here,
Mm.
and she was like, "I know you're having the baby tonight. I'm staying over," and so
Mm.
we got our sheets and stuff, and she was just camping out. She's like, "Well, it'll be a while," because I was already in like prodromal labor for 2 days already. So I was like,
Okay.
she's just taking her time, whatever. I knew it wasn't like actual labor or anything. So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But I was like, she's taking a really long time. Like I was starting to get like discouraged. Like I knew I could do it. Like I had birthed four other babies. Like I knew I could do it. I was
Mm-hmm.
big. She's just taking her time. She's gonna come. But
Yeah.
like in my mind, I was really thinking like, oh, she's not gonna. She's maybe the doctors are right. But I had labored the whole night. All my kids were sleeping, luckily. So it was just me and my partner up, and he was helping me through my contractions. And finally, at 5 a.m., I had felt a lot of pressure,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, I can't do it. Like, I need to find the tub. Like, I was filling up that tub, and I called my partner. I was like, Eli, come here. And he came into the bathroom, and he's like, oh, is that funny? He came into the bathroom, and my aunt came in. It was just a show. All the kids came in,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know. I pushed her out. It was so easy. I no ripping, no tearing, no nothing.
Yeah.
And she was just so calm, not crying, just looking around like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
son. My younger son, he had his mouth open. He was just in awe. My kids weren't scared. They weren't crying. They weren't, it was just like it was a normal day.
Yeah. I love that your children got to witness that.
It was so cool. We were telling them to get out, but they wanted to watch the show. So we will let them
Mm-hmm.
watch. So yeah, dad caught the baby. He said,
Oh.
the cord is around her, and I'm just like, unwrap it. And he unwrapped it, and he gave her to me. And yeah, thing I was bleeding a lot.
Okay.
A lot. And yeah, a lot. I think I sent you a picture of how much blood was in the toilet. I mean, not the toilet, but the tub, on one of my pictures. But it was quite a bit of blood. And I got out of the tub, and my aunt, she was scared. She's like, I think you're hemorrhaging, to the hospital. And I was like, no, I have some herbs. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to take those first.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, things, died down. She's like, okay. She was a bit scared. She's like, get on your clothes. I'm like, no, 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 no. Uh, my mom had came, and she was on the phone with my aunt. Um, but yeah, everybody was just in awe. They were,
Mm-hmm.
wow, she's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was 10 pounds, 8 ounces when she was born. So she was,
Really? So she was your biggest babe.
yep, she was in fact big, like they told me that she was going to be. So they were
Wow.
right. And that midwife I had been talking to, and she was really trying to push me to go to the hospital. She told me if I had any questions or concerns, I can call her. So I did, in fact, call her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she called the police on me.
Really?
Yep,
Oh my gosh.
because I had spoken to her, and I was asking her like, I'm bleeding quite a bit. It seemed to slow down. It's picking back up. And she was like, oh, you can try this, try that, or I can just go to the hospital. And I was like, nah, I'm just chilling. If
Mm-hmm.
she, the signs to look out for, if I was getting weak, things like that. And I was like, okay, I'm not feeling that. Um, but yeah, hours later, when we had finally, dad had put the kids to bed, and yeah, they were knocking,
Oh my
bamming,
gosh.
saying that they were here to do a welfare check for me. And yeah, we had to let them in. You have to let them in when they want to do a welfare check. So they came in, and they wanted to check me and baby out. I told them, no, they're not touching me.
Mm-hmm.
I told them they weren't touching baby either, but the paramedics was very matter of fact on, let's get her pulse when we know she's breathing. Uh,
Right?
if she was in distress, my aunt and my mom have been to school and done, nursing and stuff. Like we wouldn't know. Like it's not rocket science to tell if a baby doesn't have the
Mm-hmm.
right color. It's not rocket science. It's like, well, you
Right.
guys are doctors. Like they were literally arguing with me about getting my vitals. I'm like, you're
Oh
not
my
touching
God.
my vitals, and I didn't want them to touch my baby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I didn't want to fight with them, but they were in my home, and I was scared anything could happen, especially with the police. Why would you call the police Why would you
Mhm.
call the police? Out of all people, you could have said, you could have just said, "Hey, I don't feel comfortable with this.
Mhm.
I'm not going to answer your questions." And like I said, at the end
Yeah.
of the day, these midwives do have a license. They are mandated reporters, but I don't see what it was about me. It wasn't about the baby. Nothing was wrong with her.
Exactly. And such a violation, her saying, "Oh, you can reach out to me and if you have questions or concerns," and you do what she says that you think, "Okay, this is great." And then she just throws a curveball and calls the police. That's just awful. I can believe it, but I'm just like, wow, I can't believe that. That's just so, oh, that makes my blood boil.
Yeah, it was very isolating. And then I had to go back to this, office and get these records that they wanted to, to obtain her birth certificate. So I had to go back and see her, and she was very nervous. She was
Like
very
back to the midwife's office that
yeah.
same night that you had birthed your
Oh
baby.
no, it was like 2 weeks after.
Oh, okay. Oh my
Um,
gosh. Okay. I thought they like
yeah,
forced you to do that. Oh my goodness. Wow.
no.
Okay.
It was a few weeks afterwards. But yeah, everyone was kind of nervous,
Mm.
because they thought I was going to say something. But it just, reaffirmed my decision on having her out of the system
Yeah.
and not trusting, these midwives and other providers, because at the end it's you do what they say, and if you don't, this is what happens.
Hmm.
Get out to them if you have a question or concern.
Yeah.
But yeah, just let me know that I couldn't trust them anymore, that
Yeah.
our relationship was severed after this. And then they asked me, "So did you end up going to the hospital?" I said, "Of course not. Of course not. Nothing was wrong.
Hmm.
Why would I go to the hospital? My baby was healthy, Mama, and uh, things were just fine with me after I had called you and asked for your help. The help you did give me, it was fine. If I
Hmm.
needed to go to the hospital, I would have went. I'm not going to sit here and die at
Hmm.
home." Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, it was just a slap in the face. So yeah,
Yeah. Wow. That's just, ugh, that just puts such a bad taste in my mouth that she would do something like that. Then don't offer, if you
yeah,
just don't offer that you can help or be in that way and because you put trust in that. It's like, okay, something's happening. I would like to seek some assistance, see what's going on. I'm trusting in this midwife to, give me what I'm asking for. And then she just totally flips the script. Oh.
yeah, exactly. What slap in my face? You slap my face. My nose? Yeah, yeah, it's my nose. Where's your nose? Can you slap your own face? But
Oh.
it's very, very violating.
Mm.
But yeah, my whole family, they were just so shocked. Like, she had this big, she had this big old baby in the tub.
Yeah.
But yeah, everybody came over and gave gifts, and
Mm.
everybody was just in awe. They're like, "Oh, you're moving you around."
Mm.
But yeah, my friend, she was like, "Oh yeah." She came over. She's like, "Yeah." She was just walking around like nothing happened. I said, "That's how birth is. It's not something that you have to go to the hospital for all the time if you're healthy."
Hmm.
They're like, "You're really lucky. Like, you were able to have the baby." I'm like, literally, our bodies are designed to birth our babies. Like,
Hmm.
it's as simple as that. Like, I wasn't. Everybody kept asking me, "Why weren't you scared? Like, how weren't you scared?" I was like, "I was a little, but I knew I could do it.
Right. Yeah.
That's all it took, is that I knew I could do it."
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
for me and my family, like, they showed up for me. Like, they showed up for me when I needed their help, and
Hmm.
I was happy that finally I asked and I received. Uh,
Hmm.
but yeah, I had texted my what am I my doula a picture, and like, "Yeah, she's here," and she was like, "Congrats," and then that was that for that.
Oh
But yeah,
gosh. Wow.
so glad my aunt was able to, be here, and help, because that would have been really hard, just me and my partner and 4 kids and a baby just being born and trying to get towels and all that stuff. So
Yeah. Yeah, it
yeah,
seems like it kind of just worked out just as it was meant to be in that way with your aunt who just got that doula certification and was like, yeah, okay. she could be there. So that's really beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's like, to me, that's just a family birth. It's you,
Hmm.
your partner, the older siblings, your aunt is there. Like that's just a beautiful family birth that you just did it. Like you said, you just birthed your baby because you knew that you could. There was a little bit of fear, but you still just knew that you could do it. And so you did. I love that. Yeah.
Okay.
I do want to ask though, with this baby that you birthed at home, what did you do with the placenta?
Um, so my partner threw it in the trash.
No. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh, no.
I know. He said there were flies and everything on it, but we were planning on planning it and planting it and putting it, back into the earth. But
Yeah.
it got thrown in the trash, so maybe an animal or something got to enjoy it or something. I don't know.
Right. Okay. And how was that delivery of the placenta? You just like, do you know
Oh,
how long you waited for it to actually come through, and how long did you wait to, like, did you cut the cord or burn the cord?
so the placenta was very hard to birth, honestly. It had already been an hour, and like I said, I was bleeding very, very heavily. So I just stayed in the tub, because that's like the most, easiest place to clean up.
Mm-hmm.
But once I finally, I was tractioning the cord and I was trying to push it out, and it would not budge at all. And then I just looked at my baby. I was giving her kisses. I was talking to everyone, and it just released.
Mm.
So I think it was maybe like an hour and 30 minutes, probably even more, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, once it was finally out, everything was better. Like
Yeah.
everything was better and fine. But I was like, when I was trying to get the placenta out, it just would not come. I needed, to relax and just let it happen on its own and not
Mm-hmm.
tell my aunt, oh, let's try to get this out now, you know? So I just feel like my aunt, she was trying to help. She was trying to make sure we were safe. But like ultimately, like again, my body just was not ready,
Mm-hmm.
to release. And once I just, let it go and say, okay, I'm just going to give up now
Yeah.
because I hurt myself. I don't want, retain placenta or anything. So yeah, it just came out, and we, after, no, I think it was like 3 hours after we cut our cord.
Mm.
Uh, but yeah, my aunt, we boiled the scissors, just to make sure things were sterile, and
Mm-hmm.
got like a tux pad and severed it, not much blood at all. And
Yeah.
yeah, it was easy peasy in bed, laying down, just eating and talking to my family. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was so
Oh,
chill. Like birth can be this chill. It doesn't have to be doctors and bright lights and them taking your baby away when they don't need to be. And it's just simple. Birth is as simple as you make it, as can be. We just live in this society. And but yeah, so yeah, I got
yeah.
prove everybody wrong that said I could not have my
Yeah.
baby. So I was not even to prove anything because I already knew I could do it. But
Mm-hmm.
it is what it. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a
Mm-hmm.
we are a woman, and it's to the point where I ask people about their birth, and everyone's had a C-section, and it's like when they tell me why, it's like I don't think that was an emergency.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's so true. Yeah, they're very, very rarely is it a true emergency or a true emergent situation for the cesareans that are happening in the hospital, which is so sad because it's robbing these mothers of this really beautiful experience that they could go through in this transformation. And just because a doctor's on a clock or a midwife needs to get to another birth or is tired or whatever the excuse may be. But yeah, a lot of the cesareans that happen are really, truly unnecessary. And it's just so sad that so many women are inflicted in that, are inflicted with that.
Yeah.
Hmm. Oh, wow. So there's one last question I would love to ask you before we wrap up. And this was, you breastfed this baby as well, I'm assuming, because you did all the others.
I did.
Yeah.
I breastfed her for 2 months of her life, and
Okay.
got sick shortly after, and we learned that she was aspirating. So
Oh.
I couldn't breastfeed her. I was pumping. I pumped for a whole year for her.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I kind of got robbed of my, last her, experience, but we did
Yeah.
breastfeed, and I try to make the best out of, pumping. And
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, um yeah, I definitely did it till I couldn't do it anymore. So yeah.
That's right. Yeah. And this was, you would say, because you mentioned when your family came to visit you, you were like up and you were telling them how good you feel. So this was, I'm assuming, the best of the postpartum experiences that you had. Yeah.
Yes, because everything was so easy. I didn't have to worry about where my kids were, who was
Yeah.
watching them, if they wanted to come home. I didn't have, like, we were all together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was great. The experience was great. Postpartum was great until, baby got sick and I couldn't breastfeed her, and, you
Yeah.
know, having to navigate, the medical system again, which I birthed her out of the medical system, and just that stigma that they put on you that birthed your baby outside the hospital because you're a criminal.
Mm-hmm.
You have something to hide,
Yeah.
and going to my appointments, and as they can see, we were healthy other than the gestational diabetes. But yeah, I was just so scared of going into the hospital because I knew I wouldn't have a choice.
Yeah.
Even if I said no, they still make you do what they want you to do at the end of the day.
Yeah. I do. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you, Aaliyah, so much for sharing all of your stories.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was so great to see this, evolution of you moving from home birth to birth center to just doing it on your own. And
Yeah.
wow, it's so lovely. And yeah, you birthed your babies, and I'm just so grateful that I got to hear these stories and that other women get to hear these stories of you standing in your power and yeah, really holding your own and doing it. So thank you so much for being on in this movement.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, women, for listening to this latest episode of the Free Birthing in Color movement. If you want to continue supporting this movement and all that comes with it, please give a 5-star rating and a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Like the videos on YouTube and share this episode with some of your friends. As reciprocity for the work that I'm doing and the content that I'm creating, it only takes 2 minutes to show your support through a 5-star rating, a small written review, and a share. If you want to give a monetary donation to help with the back-end costs of keeping everything that is happening within this movement going, you can send your donations through PayPal via the link in the show notes. And again, as reciprocity for the work that I'm doing and creating, I'm so grateful when those donations come through. All information can be found within the show notes below. I'll see you in the next episode.